Hi class, this video is just a review for what's covered in Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is about bond valuation and interest rate. So we know that when a company wants to raise capital from the capital market, one way to do that is just to tap the bond market by borrowing money from the bond market investors. The largest bond are called Treasury bond. It's issued by US government. Because it's sponsored by US government, so it should be default free. Government could guarantee for the payment. But it also has credit risk. Even though it doesn't have the default risk, it still have the credit risk, especially for longer maturity treasury bond investors. The next largest one is called corporate bond. Depending on the issuers, some could be much safer than others. For example, Walmart bond, because Walmart are a company well established, so its payment are more guaranteed than like small companies, like for example JEA. So it depends on the company issued those bonds, so its risk are different. So but all the corporate bonds have default risk and credit risk. The next one is called muni bond. Muni bond are issued by the state and local government. The advantage for muni bond is its interest payment are tax-free. It has default potential. It also have credit risk, but it's a suitable investment for people who's paying high tax rate, whose tax rate are pretty high. So they could choose muni bond. So their received interest will not be paying any tax for that. Okay, the next one is foreign bond. It's issued by the foreign countries, so investors have to face not only default risk, exchange rate risk, and credit risk. Like Venezuela's bond and the Greek bond are both examples for the default risk investors has to face. So bonds are safer than stock because the cash flows are fixed, and investors will be receiving the coupon every year, and also investors will be getting the $1,000 back when the bond contract is matured. So you can click on this. You can find the bond calculators from here, jufinance.com/bond. You can find the calculator and you can give it a try. Okay, so what are the key determinants to the bond valuations? If you look at the calculator, you see. So the key determinants are, the major one is the interest, or the interest. There are four determinants to the bond valuation. Right? Let's take a look of this bond calculator. So you see, so we need to know how much is the coupon, how much is the yield, how much is the maturity, and also to determine the price of the bond. The face value is always $1,000 for bond. So the key determinants to bond valuations should be the coupon, the yield to maturity of this bond, and also the maturity, the period investors have to wait to get their face value or principals back. And so what is current yield, capital gain yield, yield to call? Current yield equals to coupon over price. Capital gain yield equals to yield to maturity, yield to investors, subtract the current yield, and that's equal to capital gain yield. Capital gain yield tells like what is the percentage of price appreciation, or the bond price appreciation rate. That's capital gain yield. Current yield is just like a coupon yield. Yield to call is similar to yield to maturity, but if the bond is called back by the investors, by the companies, when the market interest rate falls, investors typically will receive the premium. So yield to cost calculation will be slightly different to yield to maturity. It's just like the face value would equal to $1,000 plus the premium. So that's yield to call. So that yield to call tells what kind of returns investors can get if they hold this bond till it's called. So premium bond is when the bond price is higher than face value. Discount bond is just the opposite, when bond price is lower than the face value, and then it's called discount bond. Face value is always $1,000. And between premium bond and discount bond, which one might be called back? Which one will not be called back? So this is a tricky question. What is your answer? So premium bond is when market interest rate falls, the higher coupon bond price will go up. Market interest rate falls, bond price will go up. So if it's a premium bond, then its coupon rate has to be higher than the yield to maturity. Discount bond is the opposite. When the coupon rate is lower than the market yield to maturity, and then its price will fall, so will fall below par. So it's called discount bond. So which one will be called back? So which one will be called back? The premium bond will be called back. Which one will not be called back? Discount bond will not be called back, because premium bond is when market interest rate falls below the coupon rate. So since coupon rate is so high and market rate is so low, so it's good time for company to call those high coupon bond back. So premium bond would be called back. The company could reissue bond, reborrow from the bond market at lower market interest rate. So premium bond will be called back. Discount bond will not. So this is yield to maturity calculations. See, so we can write down this RD. RD is returns to the bondholders. RD return to the debt holders. So we can break it down into several different components. R star is the real interest rate, like you put the money into the bank, and after you subtract the inflation from your returns from the bank, and then what's left is called real interest rate. It's implied number, it's not given. You should use the bank rate, subtract inflation, and that will be the real interest rate. And the second component is inflation premium. The third one is maturity risk premium. The longer the bond will mature in the future, the longer it is, and the higher the maturity risk premium. Default is depending on how risky the company is. So it's depending on how the business is operated. The default risk for treasury bonds should be 0. Liquidity premium is depending on the demand and supply for the bond. So for treasury securities, it's assumed to be very liquid security, very liquid bond. So liquid premium should be 0 also. So we can always consider bond from these perspectives. So anyhow, so this is the first part of this video, and I'll make the second video I'll make the second video the next video will cover the second part of this chapter. Thank you for watching.